high school majorettes. They're so popular. One by one by one.
Everywhere he looked, he saw beautiful people. All Vinny wanted was to be part of it. Women teased him.
You naughty boy.
Making him obsessed by them.
There are millions of swingers that live it up.
Let's cut out. It's party time.
Charlie, I wanted to.
I thought I told you if word got out that we were swingers, it would kill my practice.
The curse that begins with a kiss. Stigma.
I've got it.
It crept around town from girl to boy.
We're a fine church-going community. You don't get it by sitting on public crap.
Spells are very difficult to break once they have been cast on you.
I was just walking home,
You must believe in the power.
and they threw something over my head.
Ooh, this sounds serious.
I didn't even see them coming.
Quit screwing with me, Brenda. I'm not in the mood for this shit anymore.
Including giving it back to you.
Stigma, she's got it.
Greetings, Fiends. It's your old pal Horror Mike, back with another condensed version, this time of last Friday night's show featuring horror and science fiction films, along with a couple of action flicks from the 20th century grindhouse period. Oh, yes. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? First off, from 1986, Sis Boom Blood, You're Dead. It's the Majorettes. Love the key art. That is just beautiful for the Majorettes. The Majorettes, 1986, action crime horror thriller. A hooded psycho is murdering high school girls. A devil-worshipping, drug-dealing biker gang is suspected. You know, it's always those devil-worshipping, drug-dealing biker gangs, isn't it? This one directed by S. William Hinsman. And folks, this film delivers in spades. It's got some really good kill scenes. The pacing is pretty decent. It's got some fabulous TNA. You're not going to want to miss it. And of course, I have a trailer for the Majorettes.
The high school majorettes. They're so popular, so pretty, and so desirable. You just can't take your eyes off them, and that's enough to get them killed. One by one by one.
He knows who we all are. And if he's determined to come after us one by one, it gives me the creeps.
One by one, they're never too late to give the last performance of their lives. Leave it to the co-author of The Night of the Living Dead to take the Majorettes apart.
The Majorettes, currently free on Tubi. Next up, we have Mind, Body, and Soul. Total Possession, The Ultimate Sacrifice. Starring Wings Hauser and Ginger Lynn Allen. 1992, Mind, Body, and Soul. When a young woman's evil boyfriend brings her to a satanic ritual, back to those satanic rituals again, she refuses to join the cult, so they deem her a traitor and take brutal revenge. It's a clunky film, folks, okay? The acting is typically stiff as a board, but there is, once again, a great TNA payoff. So if you're looking for some hot grindhouse action with a fair amount of nudity and ritualistic sacrifice, well, look no further. It's Mind, Body, and Soul. Of course, I have a little trailer for the film.
Been chasing this group for a long time, and we're tired of chasing them. There's something very strange about this particular murder, Brenda.
You got no right to do this. You're harassing my client. This is a friendly witness. Do you understand?
That son of a bitch is out there someplace, and they're holding me for withholding evidence.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Brenda? I'm on your side.
I'm sorry, I just find it real hard to trust anybody right now.
Well, I believe in these things, and that means they're gonna work for me.
You ask too many damn questions.
I can see right now that you're not going to be any help to me at all.
Spells are very difficult to break once they have been cast on you.
I was just walking home,
You must believe in the power.
and they threw something over my head.
Ooh, this sounds serious.
I didn't even see them coming.
Quit screwing with me, Brenda. I'm not in the mood for this shit anymore.
Now, let the ceremonies begin.
The Fanatic. I am the Fanatic. Remember that 80s song? Fanatic, aka the last horror film, folks. And there's a special reason why I'm going to recommend Fanatic, or the last horror film from 1982, as they call it, a horror comedy. And that is the acting talents and visual presence of both Caroline Munro and Joe Spinell, who really make this film worth watching. Directed by David Winters, as a New York taxi driver, played by Joe Spinell, stalks a beautiful actress, played by Caroline Munro, at Cannes Film Festival. A series of violent killings strike the lady's friends. Now, this one's definitely worth watching one or two times. In my book, I think it works as an 80s horror film. It's got some fine TNA in it, of course. It's just got that early 80s grindhouse flavor that I think you're going to dig. And I do have a little teaser trailer for you.
Everywhere he looked, he saw beautiful people. All Vinny wanted was to be part of it. Women teased him.
You naughty boy.
Making him obsessed by them. Vinny Duran became the fanatic radar.
Next up, perhaps of all of the films I'm going to show you today, you're going to have to check out Stigma. I've never seen anything like this film. It's just hard to believe. Check out that poster art. I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on there. You've got big lips with a skull in there and a really hot babe. Stigma, 1972. Dr. Calvin Cross, played by Philip Michael Thomas, yes, that's the same Philip Michael Thomas of Miami Vice fame, arrives in a secluded community just in time for its young people to fall victim to a deadly virus that he sets out to cure. Also starring Harlan Carey Poe, Josie Johnson in the lead supporting actress role, Peter Clune and William Magerman. Directed by David E. Durston. This film is about as in your face as you're going to get. This is classic grindhouse 70s. Philip Michael Thomas is freaking great. The dialogue is fantastic. His one-liners in this film that he just spits out like a freaking machine gun are hilarious. There is just a lot of strange and funny stuff that goes on in Stigma. Stigma is a film that you just have to see to believe, okay? And of course, I have a kick-ass trailer for Stigma.
The curse that begins with a kiss. Stigma.
I've got it.
It crept around town from girl to boy.
We're a fine church-going community. You don't get it by sitting on public crappers.
An epidemic of VD in Vietnam, yes. But in the USA, man.
Hey, they think we have the sick.
One case ain't gonna contaminate the whole community.
Yeah, well, there can be no one case without another. That is a simple fact. Dr. Drawer?
A disease they'd rather die from than admit they have.
Before I'm through, I'm gonna give it to every bastard I can, including giving it back to you.
Stigma. She's got it.
Next up, we have Swingers Massacre, aka Inside Amy. This one is currently being distributed by Red Rocket Media from 1974, as it says, crime, horror, drama. After a bored couple attends a swingers party, The husband sets off on a jealous killing spree, picking off anyone who tries to sleep with his wife. Oh boy, yes, it's one of those films. This flick is absolute grindhouse sleaziness to the core. And I've got a trailer for Swingers Massacre.
There are millions of swingers that live it up.
Let's cut out. It's party time.
But some die.
Charlie, I wanted her.
Look, I thought I told you if word got out that we were swingers, it would kill my practice.
Amy that I'm interested in.
Yeah, two of them. Listen, we're gonna need the meat wagon over here.
They were murdered.
Bill Stacy is dead, too.
You know him too, didn't you?
What exactly is it that you want?
The truth.
You think I'm crazy?
You've never met a couple like Charlie and Amy. Or maybe you have.
It's Girls on the Road. 1972, folks. Drama, comedy, horror, mystery. Two girls pick up a crazed hitchhiker who may or may not be the serial killer murdering hippies in the area. Oh yes, when you have that hippie murdering serial killer in the area, you know things are going to get hot. Starring Kathleen Cody, Diane Hall, Michael Ontkean, Ralph Waite, John McMurdy, and directed by Thomas J. Schmidt. I've seen the film. Half of it is a snooze fest, so if you're going to watch it, yes, there is some TNA delivery, but you're going to have to fast forward to get to those parts, folks. That's all I'm saying. It's just not a very good film. And now we're just getting into the plain weird. We start this row of flicks with Death Wish Club, 1984, comedy thriller. When straight-laced Glenn falls for Greta, an enchanting actress with a group of eccentric friends, he finds himself trapped in their dangerous world. This is one bizarre freaking movie, folks. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, you've got this guy, and he has this obsession for this woman, this young woman, who by night is a fairly talented jazz pianist, but by day, she moonlights by doing porn films. That's all I can say. That is apparently the entire thing of it. And then this guy, the guy that's obsessed with her, goes to the porn theaters and watches her performances. And he becomes more obsessed with her. But that's not even the weird part, folks. I'm not going to give it away, but the second half of this film just kicks into strange overdrive. All right. And it's just something you're going to have to see to believe. Next up, we have Merchants of Death from 1989. It's a horror thriller, and I have not seen the entire film yet. Three beautiful young women are taken to a sinister medical center where someone is making a killing selling healthy human organs on the black market. Stars Ross Hagen, PJ Souls, folks. Yes, PJ Souls is in this. Hoke Howell, William Smith, and Russ Tamblyn also in this film, directed by Ross Hagen, who, of course, as you saw there, is also the star of this film. And he may have starred in this film just to get a little action from PJ Souls. We will never know. Or maybe he was going after Russ Tamblyn with these grindhouse films of the 80s. Who the hell knows? Brain twisters, folks. Check out that key art, that poster. Let's put it this way. You're in the Blockbuster, in the early 1990s, and you're walking down the aisle and you see this on the shelf. You're probably going to pick it up. Now, you may not rent it, but you're going to pick this sucker up and you're going to take a close look. I guarantee it. As it says, Brain Twisters, a science fiction chiller. A group of college students participates in an insidious experiment that exposes them to computer game images, triggering violent outbursts. It's got some great scenes. I like some of the soundtrack, and I do like some of the visuals in this film. So I'm going to recommend at least one viewing. And I do have a very short trailer. Check this out. Next up, folks, look at this wall of poster art glory. I mean, all three of these pieces of key art here are just fantastic. The colors, the layouts, the designs, everything about these three. And the films are not bad, okay? Let's just start off with Mario Bava's Barren Blood. Barren Blood, 1972. A young man visiting the remote castle of an ancestor in Austria brings his dead relative, a brutal and sadistic baron, back to life. Well, isn't that nice? Starring Joseph Cotton and Elke Summer. Oh, yes. Directed by the one and only Mario Bava. Now, as it says here, it says PG. Okay? I could have sworn I saw an R-rated version of this film. I remember liking the film, but I thought there was some TNA in it. I may be wrong, though, folks. In any case, though, it's Mario Bava, so you know it is at least worth watching once. And it's on Tubi. Next up, it's The Devil's Nightmare. Oh, yeah. I love that key art. Oh, my God, that is just gorgeous. 1971, fantasy horror, foreign international, folks. A grim fate awaits a group of tourists forced to spend the night at a castle owned by a baron whose family is afflicted by a devilish curse. This one's got all kinds of stuff that makes it worthwhile, at least for one watch, maybe two. It's not that graphic, but it's pretty good. And it generally doesn't ramble, right? You know, you don't have much padding in this film, so it moves along at a pretty good pace. Here's a short trailer for The Devil's Nightmare. From The Devil's Nightmare to A Deadly Inheritance. Yes, that's always typically what happens. It's Deadly Inheritance from 1968. When the death of a surprisingly rich railroad worker, say that 5 times fast, leads to mysterious murders within his heirs, Inspector Greville is on the scene, folks. He is on the scene, is called in to investigate. This one starring Tom Drake and a bunch of Italians, also directed by an Italian, Vittorio Sindoni. So, you know, it's going to be very Italian, except for Tom Drake. But once again, I'm going to give it an A+ for that freaking poster art. I mean, that just jumps right off the screen. Well, folks, that wraps up our look at last Friday night's horror and sci-fi film features. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, please like and subscribe. Thank you.